talk about the difference between sensory consciousness and mental consciousness. The unique characters, the unique condition or determined condition or characteristics that makes sensory consciousness very distinctive from mental consciousness is that all the sensory consciousness depend on physical sense power. In addition to that, to give arise any kind of consciousness, any kind of sensory consciousness, it has to have a direct contact with the object that is being perceived by it. And it is the same case to the pleasure that is directly driven by sensory consciousness. Therefore, if we depend on or indulge into too much sensory pleasures, then we cannot get long-lasting pleasure and genuine happiness. As long as the material that stimulates, triggers the sense of pleasure is there, or happiness remains there, or happiness lasts there, we can have our happiness. But pleasure, once that substance starts to degrade, then our happiness or pleasure starts to disappear. On the other hand, if we train our mind over the time with a proper technique, then our happiness will not depend on outside material resources. It doesn't matter in what condition you are or we are, we can be stronger, we can be more happier. And another ways of differentiating these two, the sensory consciousness and mental consciousness, is that whether the object appears lucidly or not. Whether object appear lucid or not. To explain this, one simple example is that when we touch a cup of hot water with your bare hand, this is like having sensory experience. But if you touch the same cup with covering slim cloth, and this is kind of having a mental consciousness, there is a qualitative differences between sensory experience and mental experience.